So it's been nearly 1 week since the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection launched, and as we know, the launch was riddled with server issues, connectivity problems, lag, hit detection, and then on the single-player side, we had problems with the cutscenes in the single-player campaign, and there were some other problems as well, such as the lack of inverted controls and so on. The good news is that the developers did release the very first patch on PC, and then this is going to be rolling out on the PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the one thing that Battlefront Classic Collection should have done to prevent all of these problems, and then so much more. But first, take a look at this. So guys, I've discovered the best way for you to refuel after a long gaming session, and it's called HelloFresh, who is also the sponsor of today's video. And HelloFresh offers many delicious meal options that are directly shipped to your door, so no more standing in line at the grocery store, and they have a really good deal going on right now. 16 free meals and free dessert for life while your subscription is active, and their food is actually healthy and affordable too, not to mention that their meals are super quick and easy to make, taking less than 2 minutes to cook. And the new meal selection includes over 45 recipes from hamburgers to chicken to veggies and everything in between, even tasty snacks, breakfast items, and more. So if you want to try tasty and healthy meals, use my link in the description below and use my code HQ16FM and receive 16 free meals and free dessert for life while your subscription is active. And once again, a huge thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. So let's talk about that one thing that Aspyr could have done to prevent all of the problems at launch with this game. Historically speaking, if you look at other multiplayer games, whenever they launch, they usually do have problems. But the developers that prevent this, they take one necessary step that prevents this from happening, and that's called a multiplayer beta. And I know that seems very obvious, but if Aspyr would have simply done an online open beta, or perhaps a closed beta at first and then an open beta later, then I think this launch would have gone much smoother, because the dialogue between Aspyr and the community would have been so much different. If this would have been a beta with all of these problems and the server connectivity issues, the whole community would have been way more forgiving to Aspyr. They would have been like, yes, it's a beta. We understand that you're going to be working out the bugs. You're going to be working out the kinks with the connectivity, with the lag and the hit detection. We're going to give you a chance, Aspyr, and we're going to be willing to give feedback, right? Because usually with an open beta, you don't pay any money, you don't fork over any cost from the consumer perspective. So that's a win-win with the beta, and there's no pressure on the gamer to commit anything with an open beta besides just downloading it for free and then giving some feedback to the developer if there's problems. So I'm kind of shocked that Aspyr skipped out on doing a multiplayer beta for the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, because I believe that they knew that this game was going to have issues with the multiplayer servers. I mean, it was kind of obvious, right? So for them to say that they did not know this was going to happen is hard to believe. So I think the lesson here is that they should have definitely done a beta. And I don't know what the cost measurement is for running a free beta, but it's definitely worth it, because betas give the game free promotion. People end up downloading it, and they're a lot more forgiving if there's bugs and issues with the game during the beta period. And they could have even done an alpha as well if the game was in an alpha state, because some developers actually run closed alphas and then they do multiple betas. Now, with games like Call of Duty and Battlefield, they've run betas in the past that have definitely helped with launches, more so on the Call of Duty side. We know what happened with Battlefield 2042, of course. They still had issues at launch, but with Call of Duty, they've really nailed down their betas and gotten it just right. In fact, they've been so confident lately with their betas that their actual betas perform very well with minimal issues. That's how Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was for me. So I think when developers get into that rhythm of launching betas for their games, their betas actually end up quite good over the years. So again, there's so many benefits to doing a multiplayer beta. I don't know why Aspire didn't do this. Let me know in the comments below if you would participate in a beta if they did one. I almost think that they should go back and not necessarily do a beta, but do a free multiplayer weekend for the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. Launch it for free for a couple weekends, get people back into the Classic Collection once the first 2 or 3 patches have been introduced for all platforms, and once the server connectivity, of course, has been improved. So, again, I think there's a lot of stuff they can do to bring this game back where a lot of people are back online, because before this game launched, the excitement for it was crazy. The amount of people that were coming to my videos and all the other content creators' videos was just insane. I could feel the whole community getting excited again, and I want to see that return to the Battlefront Classic Collection, because I still think this game has major potential to be a fun game to go back and experience that nostalgia, that childhood feeling, right? And for new people, they can experience the classic Battlefronts for the first time. Now, I want to talk about this as well. Some people have been reporting that the patch, or that the servers, I should say, have been improving. They said PS5 was great today, had a blast. Looking forward to the patch. So the patch has not arrived to the PS5 just yet, but it looks like some of the server connectivity issues are improving for some people. Now, in my experience, I got on last night and I got into a game that was still rather laggy on the PlayStation 5 with those hit detection issues. So I think that they are doing some improvements, but it's not enough just yet for me personally. And it could be that they are working on regional servers one at a time, and they haven't gotten to the US servers just yet. So I'm hoping in the next couple days we see some major improvements with the console servers as well. So we'll see what happens. Now, there's a big debate going on in the community. Is Battlefront 1 Classic better or Battlefront 2? This was posted by JDB1984. They said, you know, I can't decide which one I like better. They said both Battlefront 1 and 2 have their good points. Battlefront 1 has all classes available at start, able to read remaining reinforcements easier, the use of green for allies, and command posts have names. And then Battlefront 2, you got playable heroes, easier to read remaining ammo and what weapon, ability to change classes, and then space battle. So let me know, sound off in the comments, which one is your favorite of the two? Now, I definitely appreciate both games, but I do have a confession to make. I remember when these games originally released when I was younger, I would gravitate more towards Battlefront 1. And the reason for this is because Battlefront 2 didn't put some of my favorite maps in the game, like Bespin Platforms was missing, and I felt like it was missing something. Even with the addition of space battles and stuff like that and the heroes, I still ended up gravitating more towards Battlefront 1. Now that it's been years and years since that time, I've gone to appreciate Battlefront 2 even more, though. So I'm kind of in the middle between Battlefront 1 and 2. I love both games, it seems, equally now. But I do remember when I was a kid, I gravitated more towards Battlefront 1. It also had that Dune Sea map as well. And it also had one of my favorite vehicles, too, the speeder here. One of the biggest omissions from the first game, of course, is the sprint. And I noticed that dramatically now that I'm older. I totally miss that it does not have a sprint. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if they updated Battlefront 1 Classic to include a sprint. So that brings me to the next question for you guys. Do you think that they should go in and actually add a little bit more updates to the classic games, or do you think they should leave them alone? I think they should add at least a sprint to Battlefront 1, and then also add a little bit more ability to roll in Battlefront 1, because I think it's limited to like side rolling, and I think it would be good to be able to roll back and forth, you know, in Battlefront 1. So it's more on par with Battlefront 2's movement. So again, I think Battlefront 2 definitely has the edge with its movement, but Battlefront 1 has those classic maps that I really miss when I play Battlefront 2. And that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've had fun talking about the Battlefront Classic Collection. Hopefully we see more and more updates and more improvements to it now that patches are starting to roll out. And let me know in the comments as well, how is your experience going online, and post your platform in the comments. Well, I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.